Hello and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my buddy Ed with us from Inova Payroll. Good afternoon, Ed. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kevin, good to be here. Glad to be part of your group.
Hey, thank you, my friend. So I got a question about hiring employees across the country because I see people doing this, and it came up in conversations that if you have an employee in all 50 states, you have to know the laws regarding HR and payroll in all 50 states. It's not one law across the country, right?
Well, you bring up a very interesting topic. No, it's not. It's variable everywhere and getting more complicated by the day. And that's why it's really helpful not to be running blind every time something comes up, because you're going to miss it. You're going to miss whatever issue that you're not ready for by doing that. But at the same time, you want to take advantage of the ability to hire people whoever fits best for what you need wherever they are. So it's good to have a company. I know we haven't really introduced my company yet, but it's good to have someone who has that expertise that can answer those questions on the fly for you.
I mean, like I said, because just being innocent, we talk about the difference between Mass and New Hampshire, the next door neighbors, never mind Mass and California. It's different laws. But, and again, the defense of I didn't know, not going to get you anywhere. Unfortunately, or to hire a company and know. Yeah. So why don't we backtrack a little bit? Now that I've already asked all the questions, let's go backwards and let's talk about your company. Give us a little overview of what you all do.
Sure. Well, now that we've completed 3 questions, we can, no, just kidding. So Inova, and people always ask, how do you say that? Is it Inova? Is it Inova? Well, it's actually Inova. So I sometimes put a capital O right in the middle of that, kind of like NBC, but it's Inova. But we're actually, even though you've never heard of us before, we're the 3rd largest independent HCM vendor in the entire US.
So why don't you tell us what HCM is in case someone doesn't know?
Good point. So it's human capital management, which is basically HR and payroll.
Yep. So what are some of the issues that you're seeing in that besides what we talked about? Let me give you my scenario. What I see happen, a lot of us, we start a company, me and you, we know each other since elementary school. Yep, you're my guy. So Ed's employee 1, because he's my guy. And then we get our other buddy to join, and everything's hunky-dory because we're all buddies and we can do or say whatever we want. And then we start bringing in the outsiders. And now rules change. So it's making sure we have all those policies and procedures in place. And that's where you guys come in to make sure we have them, right?
Well, I mean, that's part of it. What we will do is provide a platform, both software and services, so that you can simplify everything you're doing across the realm with HR and payroll all integrated together. So that way you can gain efficiency and focus on strategic things instead of tactical day-to-day shuffling of paper and all that. So in terms of making sure the employees are being treated properly, or however you want to phrase it, you're being open to different points of view and all that, that's real important. And so we have engagement tools built into the system as well to make it easy to communicate with people, to make it easy for those employees to feel like they're part of the group.
I like that because unfortunately, Ed, I've worked in companies where they didn't put a lot of money into HR. You were the president's admin, and that's usually who got HR. Like, okay, so you're the admin, so you're also going to be in charge of HR and payroll. Hey, don't mess it up, okay? I mean, because again, and then the poor person, they're going, well, I just didn't know we weren't supposed to do that. And it's, to me, as someone, you're close to my age, it's gotten a lot more complex than when we were younger. Things have changed.
My gray's showing, I guess, but
but to me, it has. It's not as easy as it used to be, where things just kind of got handled, and now may not just
the old personnel department, right? You got and some of them were very good, but basically, yeah, their job was just simply to take care of things day to day, and they did not have a seat at the C level to
Sure.
really help with strategy and how they're going to attract, retain, and comply.
I like what you just said about attracting and retaining, because that's a problem for a lot of companies now. They may even be able to attract, they can't retain. And after a while, you're looking at saying, we're having trouble retaining people. There's something wrong at a bigger level here. What are we doing that's making people not want to stay, or worse, making us struggle to get people? So you can work with people in developing a strategy to do both of those.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is one of the critical issues for HR nowadays. And all managers, all companies that are trying to at least tread water, if not grow.
Yep.
So, it's hard to find people these days, amazingly, especially with the kinds of skills and talents that you're seeking. And they're going to be reliable and get things done the way you want and coachable and all of that. So you really need a system that can track the right elements, and also so that you can capture the information you need about each employee and report on it. So, for example, I mean, performance reviews are increasingly important. They used to kind of be a pain in the neck every year, right? But now, not only are you doing annual performance reviews, maybe even semi-annually,
Yep.
but you want to make sure they're subjective, that they're goal oriented, that they're on track for each person, and check-ins so that you can gauge their thoughts about the company and survey the employees and make sure you're really gathering their thoughts throughout the year, not just at performance time. And also that you're not telling them you're working with them.
Well, it's interesting. I worked for a company, and my performance evaluation, I asked my boss, hey, it's the end of the year. We doing my performance evaluation. Yeah, you're doing fine. Get out of my office. That was it. Here's your raise, by the way. I just like, look, if I get something to say, but that's not how it works. Especially if you're looking for a performance improvement, have you documented, have you explained what's expected? Where sometimes we've all had that. You go in and you get blindsided. The boss is like, well, I'm not happy with what you're doing in this area. Well, where have you been for the last 9 months, boss? Why haven't we spoken about this? What's the
Right?
time for your evaluation, Ed? Like, so you let me do this for 9 months, and now you're upset with me, and maybe hitting my raise, just it doesn't work, so
Yeah, no. Yeah, small companies, you can kind of do that, real small companies, because you're talking to your employees all the
yeah,
time. If you're a good person, you probably care and really listening. If you're a larger company, not even that big, maybe you have 50 employees or more, 100, whatever, it gets much more difficult. So you also have to pay attention to being subjective. So you aren't playing favorites, so
yep.
that there's specific criteria that you're holding everyone accountable to, um, and you're avoiding potential lawsuits with that. But I think also it feeds into another topic of succession planning, where you really do want to think about how you can fill new positions, or if you're expanding or growing or even just reorganizing, who can fit these roles, who can play a leader on the team that isn't currently a leader. You really have to be thinking of that at this point, and if you're not, then you're missing the boat.
Yep. So Ed, how can people reach out to you? How can they learn more about these topics? So if they have just general HR related questions.
Yeah, anytime. HR, payroll, the services, the software, whatever your need is. Yeah, just give me a call or send me an email, take texts. How do you typically distribute contact information, Ken?
So like you said, if you want to give us your email, your phone number, whatever you're comfortable with, bud.
Absolutely will do.
All right. Well, what is it?
Oh, I'll just give you all of that.
Yep.
Yeah, my phone number is 603-207-6463. I'll say it again, 603-207-6463.
And how about your email if people prefer to email you?
Sure, it's E Tausky ETAUSKY at Inova Payroll. It's INOVA payroll.com.
I'd appreciate taking a few minutes calling the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you, Kevin.